Welcome to Crump Chiropractic. My name is Dr. Stephen Crump. I'm a doctor of chiropractic here in Gibraltar for the last 16 years. This talk's about half an hour and it's explained to you how important your spine is to your health, how by having a spine working properly you can actually help improve your health. And I'm trying to make that sort of logical today. In terms of the spine, we should have a backward curve, forward curve and a backward curve. The curves act like springs and keep us strong. And what can happen is we can lose curves through sort of bad posture, from sitting in offices in front of desks too much. People can have bumps or knocks that can cause a neck to straighten, and they may not realise it's happened. So for example, I'll sit here asking people all day, have you ever had any accidents? And people say, oh no, no, no. What they mean is they haven't been run over by a car 3 times or something. But you could be, for example, sat in your car and the lights are red and you're minding your own business and you're looking out the window like this, and somebody's not watching or these days probably texting on their phone and they bump you from behind. And it could be only 15 miles per hour. But what happens then is, when you're bumped and not expecting it, the head will actually move forwards and then backwards. And that could cause your neck to straighten. But because the impact's very small, you may have no symptoms at the time. So you come round and shout about having your back bumper resprayed because it's all scratched now, you're not very happy. And then suddenly 6 months later, you suddenly get a stiff neck, pain down the arm, headaches, and you never relate it back to the injury. Right? Whereas if you had a big injury, you rolled the car 3 times, you're probably going to get neck and arm pain or neck almost immediately, and it's obvious where the problems come from. The bones and the spine, these are the discs where the discs are between the bones. If we look at what I'm thinking about inside here is the brain stem's up in here, it's continuous with your spinal cord coming down, so that's housed in behind the spine, and it's designed to have this natural backward curve. It's designed to be shaped like a backward banana, as it were, and it's got the consistency of camembert cheese, which means if your neck straightens, you can put pressure on the spinal cord, you can deform it. So like this one here. So this is somebody whose neck straightened up. So it's actually more common than you realise. So when it straightens now, the spinal cord gets stretched and the discs lose their natural shape and they can push onto the spinal cord. Did you think you'd feel, if you push the spinal cord or brain, can you feel your spinal cord or brain right now? You can't feel it, can you? It's designed for function, not for feeling. So you probably can't feel that, but wherever that area of the spine affects, you'll feel wherever it goes to. And if nothing's done here, this neck can wear out quicker because A, it loses this spring curve, which it should have, and secondly, when it gets bumped or injured, see, when it's working properly, if this is 2 bones and a disc, the joint should be moving up and down nice and easily. And when they move up and down properly, the discs lubricate. That means fluid comes in and out and keeps them strong and healthy. If they jam and lock up, or don't move like they should do, you don't get this lubricating effect in the disc. Then what can happen is, it will literally shrivel and dry up faster in areas where it's not moving properly, so it will wear quicker. Right? So if we look at this as a sliding scale, when we're young, we should all have nice big thick disc spaces like this. We all go through an ageing process, so there always is some wear and tear arthritis, it's sort of unavoidable. We should never get down to this level here, which is completely worn. But we can have some areas that wear at different rates. Where there's an injury, it'll tend to wear faster, especially if it's not dealt with properly. Right, and by actually restoring a neck and making it move and work properly and restoring the shape, you can even bring them 10 or 15% back in the right direction, which is a whole different ballgame than leaving them to go down to this end down here. So if this person did nothing and we just ignored it, what tends to happen is we get a lot more arthritis. This is wear and tear now forming in the lower neck. And you'll see these discs are much thinner in here. And what symptoms do you think you might have if you've got discs like that?
Pain.
Yeah, neck pain?
Stiffness.
Stiffness, yeah, good. Do you know where those nerves go to in the lower neck?
Part of the arms.
Exactly, arms. You can get arm pain. They do more than that though. They actually affect the power. So you can have a heavy, weak arm. You can have pins and needles down it. You can have restriction and range of motion. You can't move your neck properly. And if that was somebody's lower back, what do you think would happen in the lower back? Back pain. So hopefully we've all heard that chiropractic can help people with bad necks and bad backs. Of our nervous system, we only about 8 or 9% of the nerves actually sense pain. So pain actually comes at the very end of a problem. And why do you think we have the pain? Why does the body give us pain?
You get it corrected.
It's like a warning system, isn't it? It's like an alarm system in the body. So, as an example of this is somebody, it's a chest X-ray of somebody. These are the arteries around somebody's heart, coronary arteries. These arteries got a blockage in them in here. Yeah. Do you know what could cause blocked arteries?
Cholesterol.
Cholesterol, yeah. Bad diet, couldn't it? Eating fatty foods, drinking, smoking, not exercising, all that can cause your arteries to get clogged up. You can have 95% of your arteries blocked and have no signs or symptoms. 95% blocked. So you could see Uncle Joe on Friday and say, "Oh, hi Uncle Joe, how you doing?" He goes, "Oh yeah, no problem, I'm all good." Then Monday he just drops dead. Right, so what, was he fit as a fiddle on Friday when he spoke to you? But he had no symptoms, did he? Does that make sense? So unfortunately for him, his first one was his last one, right? 40% of men pass away on their first attack. The rest of the men, 60% of them get a chance to go and do something about it. They have a heart attack, have a warning, then go and hopefully change their lifestyle. Same with the cancer. If you suddenly find a lump somewhere and you go and have it diagnosed as a cancer, has it just suddenly turned up now? Yeah, probably up to 5 to 10 years, silently building up until eventually there's enough of a lump that you can feel it. So how we feel is a very poor measure of our health and how it's working. And the reason again is because we only feel so little of the system. So 20% of the nerves coming out control your muscle power, and 70% control the organ. So of the spine here, we've got the brain up here, continues to the spinal cord, and then these nerve roots coming out. They're literally passing messages, mental impulses from the brain down the nerve, and here they're going down your arms, and here down your legs, and here they got into the head. Then it goes heart, lung, gallbladder, stomach, pancreas, large intestine, uterus. And if we get an area that's becoming chronically blocked, and you're pinched and trapped like this, it is interfering with the messages passing properly. So we liken it, let's model here. So what messages should be passing about 90, they should be passing at about 270 miles an hour. A bit like electricity passing down there. And they start to get blocked, you can reduce the amount of information by up to 60%. It still works, but it doesn't work like it should do. And perhaps a tragic example, but a clear example of this would be Christopher Reeve with Superman. We all know he was a fit, healthy guy, then he had an accident on the horse. He was going along and hit a branch, and he literally forced his C1 bone here onto his brainstem. So your brain sits up here protected inside the head. It goes through a big hole, and your brainstem sits in here, and that controls most of the vital functions in your body. Heart rate, breathing, respiration, nerves cross over from the arms and legs. And they put a crushing pressure on his brainstem in there. And then what happened to him after that? He's in a wheelchair, wasn't he? He couldn't use his arms or legs, he's quadriplegic. After 7 days in the wheelchair, it's going to fit a pacemaker for his heart. So why do you think they have to fit a pacemaker? Would he suddenly get heart disease in 7 days? Why would you have to have that?
His brain was sending a message.
Yes, your brain speeds up and slows down your heart, and if the message is getting blocked, it can't get the messages through to the organs. Does that make sense? He had to have a hole put through the front of his neck, and he had to be connected to an iron lung. He had to have dialysis for his kidneys. He had 7 machines doing what his body should do for itself because the brain couldn't control and regulate the organs. So the way our body stays healthy is it's the brain at the top that sends messages down the body. So here's somebody's brain. T5 goes to your stomach in here. What does the stomach do for a living? What's the job of the stomach?
Process food.
Exactly. How does it do that?
Acid.
Produce acid and enzymes, doesn't it? So it's got acid in there. So what happens is, just as you're about to eat your food, your brain sends a message down to your stomach and it says, start producing acid now, because the food's coming down, you need to break the food down, and then your body absorbs it through the stomach lining and uses it for growth and repair. Right? And then when the food's passed through, the message goes back to the brain, tells it that it's gone through and it's switched the acid production off. But let's say now you have a blockage in here. So this chap, for example, sat in front of a computer 8-9 hours a day, and his back starts to stiffen and lock up here. Or he's playing football and somebody sticks his knee straight into his back, and for 2 or 3 days he's got a really sore back. Then it's not so sore. but it just stays stiff and locked up and you sort of forget about it. So let's say you reduce the inflammation down by about 20%. Would that be healthy to have a stomach working at less than 20%? Wouldn't be, would it? So I'm liking it to a light bulb, right? So this is like, that'd be 100% inflammation passing up and down, 20%. Let's say it blocks a bit more and it's 30%. That'd be even less healthy, wouldn't it? But you often wouldn't have any symptoms, wouldn't be enough problems to actually start realising it. It's often not so it starts blocking at 40%. And say that went on for 6 months, a year, 18 months. Actually, now you've got 40% of the cells in your stomach. So the brain's literally connected to little cells. The cells in your stomach, in here which produce the acid and enzymes, they reproduce themselves, they replicate themselves every 4 or 5 days. So you get a new stomach lining completely every 4 or 5 days. 2 days if you have spicy food. They're the ones that produce this acid. The acid in your stomach is level 1. That means if it touched metal, it would burn straight through metal. But it doesn't harm us at all, does it? If this system keeps working properly. So let's now say this is getting blocked at more than 40% and it gets blocked for for months and months. Start producing more acid than we should do. So what symptoms do we have then?
Heartburn.
What do we do? Horrible heartburn.
Running.
That's one of the running. They were the first tablets, right? Do you remember they were made? Only 1952. I'll speed up. 1952, right? So a drug company had made Rennie. And do you know what Rennie are?
Fantastic.
Just chalk. Chalk tablets, right? So they just neutralise excess acid. And they can't sell them because there's no condition. So they have to name the condition. They call it acid reflux disease, and they can sell Rennies. Now you've got a Pramazole, Losec, all these new ones, haven't you? Is that solving your problem? Not if that's the problem, is it? Right? There may be other reasons, but not if that's the reason there. So it's temporarily reducing the acid, and you haven't got to suffer your heartburn anymore, have you? Until the next time you go and eat again, and the same process happens again. So my job is if we can find blockages like this, is to remove the blockages, so that the brain can start to get messages passing up and down, and it can run the body properly. And L1, for example, goes to your large intestines. So if you got blocked, say 40% or more there, and you couldn't regulate your large intestine, you go to the doctor saying, my bowel's irritable, then they say, well, you've got irritable bowel. But it doesn't really answer the question why, does it? So if this is blocked on here, they give you something to go and get rid of the symptom. Again, that's blocking and dealing with the problem. C1, the headaches, migraine, C2 goes to eye, ear, sinus. So this is how the body runs and controls our system. So this is what happens. The messages should be passing up and down with the nerves working properly. If we get bones misaligned, they can put pressure on a nerve. So it's been measured at the University of Colorado that the weight of a dime, which is a very small amount of weight, like a 5p piece, resting on a nerve, cuts its transmission down by 60%. Right now it starts to get common to start getting symptoms. If you have them long enough, people start thinking they're normal. Being tired all the time, having headaches all the time, having a left leg that doesn't work every other day. Right? So, it's just normal. Right? So if we get the pressure off the nerve and get the messages back, and then the brain can get the messages through to the body. So how do you know if it's working properly? That's why we take the scan. Because by the time the symptoms come, they come right at the very end of the problem, not the beginning. So we take a scan initially, even when maybe it's starting to happen silently, we can look for areas of pressure where it's blocked. So this little girl here came to us. She's Anisha. She was 5 years old, and she came for bedwetting and bad allergies.
Hello. We brought Anisha to the chiropractor because she was constantly wetting the bed. She was very upset all the time and had a lot of allergies to wheat, and so she was always blocked and had a lot of mucus. So we came to the chiropractor, she loved it, enjoyed it, was feeling a lot better straight away. Stopped wetting the bed, she's 6 now, has never wet the bed again, and she's a lot better with her allergies.
Starting just 2 or 3 minutes a day, working up to 10 minutes a day. But I'm saying during that time my neck has improved, and now it has actually gone almost back to where it should be. And I'm getting a lot less headaches and things like that.
Yeah, so I had extremely bad sciatica in my left side, left buttock, and that's over the years. That's gone off, and that has been a huge improvement. And I think doing the neck roll definitely improved my neck. It relieves some of the numbness I was getting, or pins and needles I was getting in my left shoulder, that's gone.